I'm here at the Indianapolis airport getting ready to fly out to Denver to the National Beef Cattlemen's Association for meetings. TSA checkpoint took a while, a big crowd, a lot of people from spring break from the Hoosier State heading out. So this is just the first step in the video. Okay guys, this is going to be a little different video from my typical farm videos. Because I'm part of the Indiana Beef Cattle Association, I've been afforded the opportunity to come to the NCBA headquarters for State Beef Council's orientation, and it's been a wonderful experience. And so I have with me Todd Johnson from the Senior Vice Chairman of Federation. So I'd like for you to just tell us, what the function was of what I learned and what was offered here.
You bet. Well, we're pleased to host this kind of an orientation for State Beef Council board members and staff from around the country. We have 23 states represented, 50 people, and the focus is about understanding the beef checkoff program, understanding the role that we all play in that. In your case, the role is different as a board member than it would be as a typical beef producer, but we all have a stake in this program because we're all paying the dollar and we're looking for programs that deliver on that investment. So the orientation has been structured around the fundamentals of the program and then identifying how our individual state beef councils can extend programs in coordination with a national program like we do here at NCBA to get the most value for your checkoff investment.
Right. I don't think I've only been a member probably for 4 or 5 years, I guess, which I hate to admit that, but to see where my checkoff dollars go and what my membership does, it's just pretty impressive. And what you've offered here today, it's just it's mind-blowing, to be quite honest, what service you could offer. So can you just expound to maybe the people who watch my YouTube channel that are cattle producers, what does their checkoff dollars do for them?
Mm-hmm. First of all, it's important to remember the limitations on the dollar. They can only be used in the areas of promotion, research, and education. So when you take those categories and expand them, we're doing things like fundamental consumer market research to understand what drives a consumer to our product or what might deter them from eating beef. So we're doing a lot of research to understand what's happening. We're also doing research to understand the nutritional value, the safety of the product, the eating quality, if it's tender, if it's juicy, if it's the things that consumers are looking for. And then we're taking that fundamental research and information to the consumer in a lot of different ways. We're doing that directly through advertising, and Beef It's What's for Dinner is the brand that we all recognize. We're also doing that through influencers, chefs, dietitians, media influencers that can take the message on our behalf to a broader audience. So we're really working on acceptance of beef and driving beef demand.
Okay, and I guess I'm going to throw in a question maybe I didn't say I was going to ask, but we were walking down the hall to do this little video, and there was a slide up on the screen that talked about consumers and why they chose beef or not, and one of the lower categories was 4%, I think, was the statistic that talked about that wasn't a major concern to those on antibiotic, but yet the veterinary feed directive is a big issue. So can you explain maybe why that's so low, but yet we have this directive?
Well, I can't give you all the details on how that veterinary feed directive came around. That honestly gets a little bit out of my scope. What I can talk about is the information you just shared, and that is when we ask consumers, why might you eat less beef, or what is a concern of yours? There was a list of 6 or 8 questions. The top item on that list was animal care or animal welfare. That was the biggest deterrent that they would have. That's concerning, but it's actually an easy solution for us because as an industry, we have the Beef Quality Assurance Program that demonstrates our proactive effort towards animal care and welfare, which also includes things like judicious use of antibiotics. So when we're looking at consumers' concern on the list, animal welfare is the #1 thing. We have a great story to tell, and when we tell that story, it helps consumers have greater confidence in our product. Those other items are certainly lower on the list, and they're really not even hitting the radar of the consumer, are they? So it may feel like our industry has reacted in a strong way. I think the bottom line is remembering the beef quality assurance, which we all should be certified in, and if not, there's an opportunity to do that online. Once we're BQA certified, we've got a really strong story to tell our consumers.
Right. I guess, as a side note, as we end our conversation for my video, whenever I get an opportunity to post it, is I'm standing actually in the Cattleman to Cattleman studio, and it's kind of interesting. You watch that show on TV, and here I am today standing in the studio. So I appreciate the time and sharing that information with us, and I've enjoyed the opportunity to be here.
Well, we're glad we could host you, and I appreciate what you're doing for the industry.
Thank you.
Tools you guys have in your kitchen. They're not professional tools, so it's kind of a mix match knowledge. So when we're developing a recipe, is it instrument twisted? And maybe Chef Alex has developed it. He's going to pass it over to somebody else to make sure.
Well, I thought I'd give a little update on the bucket feeding twin that was born on February 2nd. So I'm out here at my 7:30 feeding and heading here into the barn, and you can see the little gal is ready. So she is learned pretty clearly what the bucket is all about. And so there you go. And it doesn't take her long to suck down a little over 2 quarts of milk. Hopefully, in another 3 or 4 weeks, I can get her off of the bucket. She is eating some grain, and she has started eating some hay, and I did weigh her yesterday, and she is more than doubled her birth weight in these 2 months. So that's just a little update on little True North twin heifer. This is also another little clip of a calf that was born while I was in Denver on my trip, and just 15 minutes before the meeting started, I started getting texts from my daughter that this cow was having trouble having a calf, and I'm kind of a one-man crew. However, my wife, son, and one of the neighbor boys did come over and got the chains out and pulled this bull calf out of a cow, and she'll probably come over here in a second. Maybe she won't. But here's this little bull calf. And I guess maybe I shouldn't say little. He weighed 92 pounds at birth. And so he's darn near almost as big as my twin bottle calf that I weighed yesterday as well. So everything turned out well, but here the little guy is, and he's healthy. And so this is the 3rd day of his birth, and he has been kicked him out yesterday after I got back from Denver. So here's this little guy, and you can see he's pretty content curled up here. His mama is finally headed this direction, and I don't know whether you can see her or not, but she's doing fine as well. And so that's just kind of the morning here at the farm. A little update on goings-ons.